Nick Rutter for IDSCarCare.com. Today at the shop, I have Yvan Lacroix.
Pleased to be here.
Welcome. Yvan is the detailing efficiency expert. Now, I know you don't like the word expert
No.
because you're always learning.
Yes.
You're humble, which is good, okay? But Yvan, when it comes to saving time and reducing effort and improving results, you're the guy.
Something like that, yeah. And this is one of my favorite tools in the industry. Not just one of my favorite tools, I mean everywhere. The System 4000 Pad Washer from Lake Country is just an amazing tool to save money, to save time, and save your expensive pads.
And to give you a little backdrop here, so Lake Country, they're the #1 pad manufacturer in the world.
Exactly.
They're located in Wisconsin. All their pads, they're all manufactured and produced in the USA. They cater to detailers, enthusiasts, and end users. Their pads are fantastic.
Right. And they're actually, you see a lot of Lake Country pads, but a lot of other names use Lake Country pads. They do more private labeling than they do under their own brand. So they're everywhere.
Yeah, our red line pads from McKee's 37
exactly.
are actually co-developed with Lake Country. So
exactly.
when it comes time for any kind of buffing pad, they're the go-to source.
Right. Be it wool, foam, microfiber, you name it, they have it.
Everything in between. So naturally, it only made sense that they came out with a special tool, because that's what this is, a tool,
Right.
to clean and maintain the pads, because whether you're a weekend warrior and you're doing 1 or 2 cars a week,
Yep.
or if you got a high-end detail shop, you're going to go through a lot of these pads, and these pads, they add up, right?
They add up a lot.
They become an expense, so having something like this, which you will break down in detail,
Yes.
it saves you time and money, most importantly.
Right. And it saves your pads. So first of all, when you're polishing a car like this, before this was around, we had a couple different ways of cleaning our pads. So we had the brush, we had the spur if you're using a wool pad, and no, Nick's not a cowboy. But anyways, the brush, while it's rotating, you'll use that. That does a lot of things, cleans the pad, but it creates a lot of dust. And dust is not something we want when we're polishing, personally.
And for you guys that are taking notes at home, the reason that you want to clean your pad is because when you are polishing your paint, when you're compounding it or polishing it, what's happening, Yvan? Can you give us some explanation?
So you're actually removing paint and it's embedding itself into the pad. And as the pad does that, those nice little foam pores or those wool fibers are no longer able to cut because now they're filled with the paint. And if you've ever polished single stage paint, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This nice orange pad will become red if this car was single stage with about 30 seconds worth of polishing. It just changes color.
And it's good you mentioned that because most modern cars are clear coat, and clear coat is paint with no color pigment, correct?
Right.
So you're still removing paint, you just can't see it on the pad.
Right. And that clear coat actually blocks off all these pores, making your pad inefficient. And it will cause things like swirling, holograms, tick marks, whatever you want to call them. A dirty pad should never be used on a car.
You want to work clean.
You want to work clean. I have a saying that I've been saying for decades now: never put clean polish on a dirty pad.
There you go.
So for us, I use the pad washer every time I remove the pad from the surface and I'm about to put new polish on the pad. I use the pad washer.
Because you want to remove that spent residue, because besides the clear coat or the color coat that you removed, you have the polishing oils in your pad, you have the abrasives that have broken down.
Yes.
You have all this stuff, and not only that, you have embedded dirt that is pulled out, it's extracted from the clear coat, and that too will hinder the performance of your polish.
And the other thing is, what this does for you is it actually lubricates your pad. Now, it's not leaving your pad wet, it's just leaving it damp. And a pad like this from the factory weighs, I think 24 or 25 grams. We're actually only adding 1 gram of weight to the pad in moisture once you've spun it out correctly using your tool. But what that does is normally 3 or 4 drops of polish on the pad, right? Well, if the rest of the pad is dry, those areas are causing damage to your paint because it's not meant to be dry buffing. The other thing is a damp pad will actually conform to the surface better because it actually becomes softer when it's dampened.
That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that because these are the hybrid force pads by Lake Country,
Yes.
which they designed these for forced rotation machines, and these are of a stiffer foam composition.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You want it to conform. Well, Yvan, now that we got the lowdown and the science on that, to me and to you guys sitting at home on your couch watching YouTube, this looks like a bucket.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's the least expensive bucket you'll ever buy. It is an investment. Trust me, everybody that's bought one of these, because I've been pushing these for lack of a better term, to me it's a must-have. If you buy one of these, you need one of these. If you have some of these, you need one of these. But that being said, it does something a little differently than any other pad washer on the market. That is, it separates the spent liquid from the new liquid.
So the gunk that comes out of the pad, it separates it.
Right. So in the bottom of the bucket, and yes, at this point, it's just a bucket.
Just a bucket, right?
So in the bottom of the bucket, we put our fresh water and the McKee's polishing pad rejuvenator. You put half a scoop, and that's all you need. It's great. This is going to last you a long time. And this helps cleaning the pad, but it won't affect any polishes.
That's correct, and the reason why is we developed this so it rinses out of the pad completely.
Exactly.
When you're going through the process here, because this will help supercharge the water that you put in there, which water is a great cleaner by itself. But
right.
This will supercharge that because some polishes have some pretty aggressive solvents.
Yes.
Or fillers.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, grab the filler or put it in the batch.
No.
And this will help remove that.
Right. The next component is this here. This is the capture bucket. So we can see in the bottom it has an O-ring. It's got a seal in the center there. And what this does is the spent liquid from the washing goes into here, but doesn't transfer into the bottom bucket. So your fresh water is in the bottom, your spent water is here.
And the way it extracts the fresh water is it has that siphon tube, right? And when you pump it, it brings it up.
Right, and when you pump this, you'll notice this little larger area here that houses in that seal. So always be sure to align it properly. And then once you lock that down, it's down. It's staying there.
And then what about the face here of the mechanism that goes up and down? We'll get that on camera.
Right, so this mechanism, spring-loaded, 5 springs, and so you get a nice even, and even if you're crooked a little bit, it's going to pop back up. This, what I like to affectionately call a shower head, because that's what it looks like. This will bring moisture into your pad from the bottom, pumps it up. It's a displacement pump. So if you go very slowly with this, you're just going to get a little trickle of water out of it.
Yeah.
What you want to do with your polisher is go quickly.
We're going to show you here in a second.
Yeah, so you want to go very quickly, 1 or 2 shots like that. If we had water in this, we'd have a fountain up to the ceiling.
Well, you'll see some footage of that.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, that injects the cleaning solution into your pad. Then you run the machine with the pad over top of the platen here. And this will take up to an 8-inch diameter wool pad.
That's good to know.
So wool pads, foam pads, microfiber pads, it cleans them all to perfection. Once you're done cleaning your pad on this, you just lift up the tool maybe a 1/4 inch. You don't want to lift it out like this and turn it on. Yeah. But by lifting it up just a 1/4 inch, it's going to spin out all the excess liquid that's in the pad, leaving it damp, not wet.
Yeah.
Now, one little caveat to that is the gear-driven tools, they don't dry the pad quite enough. So with a gear-driven tool, you're going to need to use some other form of tool, or just wash your pads, put them aside, let them dry a little more, because of the gear-driven action, it doesn't turn fast enough to expel the liquid. Not enough centrifugal force.
So you can do that, though. You can still use the gear-driven to clean the pad.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And we recommend rotating pads anyway, because it helps cool them down. And
yes.
You want to have a selection of pads. You're not going to buff a car out with just one pad. So you can rotate, put a new pad on, and then you can keep going with your process. And you can take a towel as well, and you can blot the water out with the towel too. That works. So, and you'll see footage here. We're actually going to showcase the Flex rotary machine when we do this demonstration, which you'll see footage inserted here and there with it adding the cleaner and pumping it up and just how well it works.
But definitely a must-have tool. If you're thinking of polishing, buy this first before you buy the pads in the machine. Seriously. It's just one of these tools that once you have it, you'll go, now I understand.
Yeah, it's and you might be looking at it thinking, well, I have my car, my wife's car, and I do my neighbor's car every so often. I don't really need this. No, you'd be shocked, like you said, at just how well this works. It's a tool. There's tools in your toolbox that you don't use every single day, right? Or every time you work on a car. No, but it's a tool to have when the job calls for it.
Exactly. Your pads are going to last longer. And a few things that you'll see online, people say, oh, I just blow my pads out with compressed air. That's a great way of destroying your pads. And you'll notice some pad manufacturers actually suggest that. Others don't. So Because basically the cells or the little membranes that are between all the bubbles in here that are holding all this together, when you use compressed air or even worse, pressure washer, that is destroying all those cells. Your pad still looks good, but now instead of being this stiffness, well, it becomes really, really soft.
Sure.
So your pad that you thought was a cutting pad is now a finishing pad.
Yeah, yeah. And besides when we wrap this up, besides buying this nice tool to maintain your pads, I also want to mention, because we're seeing far more, it's becoming more prevalent having these Chinese pads in the market.
Yes.
And let me tell you, do you know what's more expensive than an $11 buffing pad? A new paint job.
Yeah.
So when you're buying pads and you're shopping online and you see on some big stores that carry everything and
right.
they have same-day shipping, you'll see some offers for like a 6-pack of pads. I've seen crazy low prices.
Yeah, like $9.99 for 6 pads.
Yeah, don't buy them.
No.
They're not high quality. Buy from a trusted manufacturer, Lake Country. It's made in the USA.
Right.
We carry it at idscarcare.com. Yvan endorses the brand. He recommends
Definitely,
it.
yeah.
High quality line. Don't skimp out on your buffing pads, please.
Yeah.
There's my rant for the day. So,
Exactly.
well, Yvan, I appreciate you stopping by. And like I said, you guys will see footage inserted of this machine being used. And it's inexpensive insurance to maintain your pad investment. Not only that, to get better results from your detail.
Yeah, you're actually going to get much better cutting. You're going to get better finishing from your pads when they're clean.
And better cutting and better finishing results in what?
A better job, better gloss.
Better gloss.
It looks better, and it's going to take you less time.
Yeah, we're always searching for that little bit of extra gloss.
Exactly.
That's what we all do. So Yvan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
It was a pleasure having you. If you like videos like this, click the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any comments or questions, or if you want to harass us or antagonize us,
Please leave a comment.
Leave a comment. We'll gladly respond. So take care, God bless, and have a nice day.